Hi, I'm Jilly G. Welcome to my kitchen. Today I'm going to show you how to make my gluten-free Eggs Benedict. Or rather, my version of Eggs Benedict. And if you missed the announcement that I made on my last video, this is my first video and first recipe for the Easter Progressive Meal Series that I've collaborated with Our Heritage Works. I'll put a link to their channel in my description box below with the recipe. But if you're not aware, I've collaborated with another YouTuber and we are bringing you Easter recipes. If you missed the first recipe, head on over to Our Heritage Works and you can subscribe to his channel. Hit the notification bell on his channel so you'll get alerted when the next video and the next recipe is coming up. But it's been so much fun already to bring you these recipes, and if you make brunch for your Easter holiday, this would be perfect. The recipe that I'm showing you today will be enough Hollandaise sauce for maybe 3 or 4 servings of Eggs Benedict. Of course, you could always double the recipe and make more if you're serving more people. But the first thing that I'll do is get my English muffin ready. And these are my gluten-free sourdough English muffins. I'll put a link for this video below as well. And of course, if you don't like English muffins, you can just use a slice of gluten-free bread. It really works however you like it to be. And if you get some crumbs on here, we'll just put these back on the plate. We don't want them to burn under the broiler. So my English muffin is ready. And I've got some Canadian bacon here. You could use ham, turkey, or no meat, whatever you like on your Eggs Benedict. But what Eggs Benedict are is your English muffin that is toasted. I'll be using the broiler. And then you put on a piece of Canadian bacon, and then you put on a poached egg, and then you pour on your Hollandaise sauce. My version today will be not poached eggs. If you've ever made poached eggs, you might have been successful. I have never been successful making poached eggs, so you won't see that here. I just make a couple of fried eggs, and that is how I make my Eggs Benedict. If you are amazing at making poached eggs, do that. But I am not. And if I make this recipe and it's summertime, when tomatoes are in season, sliced tomato goes really good on Eggs Benedict. So what we're going to do first is make the Hollandaise sauce. And if you've never made Hollandaise sauce before, it's actually really easy. So what we need is, I've got a small saucepan over here with maybe about a 1/2 inch to 1 inch of water. And it is coming up to a simmer. If you have a double boiler, you could use that. But I don't have one, so I just put a bowl on top of my saucepan and it works really well. And not very many ingredients at all. It really comes together so fast. So what we need, of course, is eggs, butter, salt. I've got some water and I've got some lemon juice. So for the Hollandaise sauce, we need 3 egg yolks. And then I've got 2 eggs that will go onto my English muffin. And as always, the easiest way that I find to separate egg yolks from the whites is to just pick them up. And then I'm just going to save my egg whites for something else. If you don't want to have extra yolks, because the Hollandaise sauce is made with egg yolks, you could use the reserved whites and just make some scrambled egg whites to go on top of your Eggs Benedict. Whatever you like. And of course you want your eggs to be at room temperature. So there's my 3 egg yolks. And while I'm cracking eggs, I'm just going to get my 2 eggs cracked that will go on top of my English muffins. And I'll just put those in. I always crack eggs in a separate bowl first. So set aside your eggs. And my water is at a simmer. If you see that it is boiling rapidly, you don't want it to boil, you just want it to be at a simmer. So turn it down if you need to. So 3 egg yolks, I've got 1½ tablespoons of water. the loudest fridge ever. And then we need 1.5 tablespoons of lemon juice, which is usually about 1/2 lemon. And we don't need it yet, but I'm just getting it ready. And as with anything that you make with lemons, sometimes you never know how juicy or lemony the flavor will be. If you have a really tart lemon, it will really brighten up your hollandaise sauce. If you have a lemon that doesn't have very much flavor, your hollandaise sauce will still be really good. It just won't be as bright. So there's my lemon juice. So set aside your lemon juice, and then I've got a little bit of salt. It's about 1/2 teaspoon. It usually calls for a big pinch, but if you're avoiding salt, you don't have to add it in. So to my 3 egg yolks and my 1.5 tablespoons of water, I'm just gonna whisk them up. Really nothing to it. And I'm gonna turn my broiler on while I'm making my hollandaise sauce. So once you've got that mixed together, bring it over to our saucepan, and you can see it is just at a slight simmer. And when you put your bowl on top of this, you don't want the bottom of the bowl to reach the water. So now we're just gonna whisk our egg yolks and our water until it's thickened. And you want to stir this pretty continuously so your yolks don't curdle. And if you need to, just lift up your bowl and see what's happening. If it's too vigorous of a boil, just turn down the heat a little bit. And I know it doesn't look like it's gonna make very much, but you don't need a lot on your Eggs Benedict. It really is rich. And you'll see that it is getting thicker, and it's starting to get these bubbles around the edges. I'm gonna add in 1.5 tablespoons of my lemon juice. And this will also help to thicken our egg yolks. And I've got 1 stick of butter, 8 tablespoons, mostly melted. We'll start whisking and pouring in a little bit at a time. And this will also help cool down your mixture if you feel like it's getting too hot. And this is mostly melted. It still has some pretty big chunks of butter in it. And it's already looking really good. Just keep adding in your butter a little bit at a time. And that is the last of my butter. If at any time you feel like your hollandaise sauce is too thick, just add in a little bit of water, a little bit at a time, whisking, and it will smooth out. Unless, of course, you've cooked it too much and it turns into scrambled eggs. There's not really coming back from that. But this is looking really good. Add in a pinch of salt, however much you like. You can always add more later. I'm not going to turn my burner off, but I'm going to move my pot off of the burner. It will stay nice and warm on top of that simmering water. Even though the heat is gone, there is enough residual heat that will keep your sauce nice and warm. So we'll just periodically stir that. I'm going to turn the heat up to about medium-high. I have a frying pan and a lid that does not go with my frying pan, and some bacon grease. I'm going to get my pan heating up for my fried eggs, and my broiler is on. I'm going to toast my English muffin. You can periodically stir your hollandaise sauce. Once your English muffin is as toasted as you'd like it to be, I take it out and put on my Canadian bacon, and then I'll put this back under the broiler when my eggs are almost ready. And my bacon grease is melted and my pan is nice and hot. I am going to turn the heat down to about medium. Give your sauce a stir, and then we'll get our eggs cooking. Add in a little bit of salt and a little bit of pepper, and I put the lid on to help it steam. Give your sauce a stir, and when the eggs look like this, they're just about ready. I'm going to turn the heat off of my eggs and get my yolks a little bit more set, and of course get the whites set. And while that's finishing up, I'm going to broil my Canadian bacon. You could make this for a large crowd and fit quite a few of your halved English muffins on a cookie sheet at once. And I don't know if you noticed, but my Hollandaise sauce, it will develop a little bit of a skin, kind of like pudding. But once you stir it up, it really comes back together. And I'm going to take my eggs off of the heat. And my Canadian bacon is as broiled as I'd like it to be. Get yourself a plate. And my eggs look great. I'm going to cut them in half. And I know it's not a perfectly shaped egg to go on top of an English muffin, but I don't mind. Bring over our Hollandaise sauce. Give it a really good stir. And if you feel like this is too thick, you can add a little bit of water and whisk it in. And you can add as much or as little as you like. It sure looks good. Let's get all of this out of the way. And I know most people won't service everything on a cookie sheet, but it's just fine. But it sure looks good. So let's just call this fried eggs Benedict. Just as good as with a poached egg. Let me know if you've ever made poached eggs before and how it went. I have never been successful at all, but I love Hollandaise sauce. And Hollandaise sauce is really good on vegetables. Asparagus or broccoli, it's really good on vegetables. Cauliflower. So good. That lemon is perfect. You never know how tart your lemon is going to be. That one was really good. It really brightens up the richness of the Hollandaise sauce. But so good. And if you're serving buffet style, you could always put your Hollandaise sauce in a fondue pot. And that keeps it just the perfect temperature. It keeps it warm, but it doesn't keep cooking it. Or of course you can keep it over the pan of water that is hot and then just give it a really good stir. And if you put leftovers in the fridge and you want to reheat it the next day and you find it's too thick, you can add a little bit more lemon juice if you feel like you need more flavor, or just a little bit more water and stir it really good. It really is no fuss. And the nice thing about fried eggs is you can cook them as much as you want. Sometimes with poached eggs, if you have people that don't like a runny yolk, fried eggs is a good solution to that. But really so good. One of my favorite meals. And I know I say that about a lot of my meals, but this really is one of my favorites. And you saw how fast and easy it really came together. Let me know if you make this recipe and what you think. And let me know what else you like to put Hollandaise sauce on. Look for the next recipe in this Easter series at Our Heritage Works. But thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. If you have any questions or comments, let me know, and I'll see you on the next one.